All right. Hey, and we're back.
And we are back.
Here we are at the end of this. Oh, yep. Nope. That's good. No, do it. Do it all. Yes. Seizure warning.
This is the final episode of Anime FMK. Who gives any fucks? Do you give a fuck, Kieran?
Nope. This is the day. This is the last day of senior year where I was here for second period, and then I left because I had nothing else.
The day the fucks died. It's bye, Miss Chinese cartoon.
Just to clarify, I was trying to get Kieran in here way earlier in the day so we could upload just a bunch of dumb GIFs onto OBS.
Oh,
So in the middle of the show, I could just fuck with it.
You can pull them up right now.
Make it happen.
Can you input them while streaming?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Oh, okay.
Just add image and then just put it on there.
I have to do this dumb thing. Though.
Yeah, well, you're doing it right now.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Go ahead. Talk about happy sugar life.
Now we've got a list of things to go through.
Yeah, this is our recap episode. We're going to look back at all the good times.
Yeah.
All right, before we get into this, I would like to say this as somebody who has loved working on this show, who loves the both of you, who still loves anime, regardless.
Yep.
We don't like being negative people. That's not the thing that we thrive on being. The kind of entertainment we want to make is not the kind of shit that tears stuff down. The most we ever want to be is people who have fun and explore things. And if something is bad, we'll say it's bad. But we also want to, tell you that if there's good stuff, there's the good stuff there. Look for the good stuff. Look for the good in everything. So as we talk about this season, when we went into it, we basically had very little expectations. And as we're going out of it, we've definitely found that our expectations were not exactly blown away. So
Hey, somebody found something they liked. It wasn't me, but
hey,
there's your silver lining.
Both he and I did find things that we liked.
Yeah,
and
I'll take it.
But as we talk about this season, let's just remember, we don't want to shit over anything you might have liked. And if we do shit on the thing that you like, that doesn't mean you're a shitty person to us. And that's the thing that everyone needs to remember, is that our opinions
is that we only hurt you because we love you.
Yeah.
You brought this.
Now that being completely said, Jesus Christ, Ben, you want to get this underway?
Let's do it, guys. Let's talk about hardly the worst of the bunch. Let's talk about Chio's School Road.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, are we starting off with Chio?
I mean, if we're going in order, which is how we've done this, so Chio's School Road is a show that made it onto the list because it was Tyler's lock.
Man.
Yeah. Tyler, how do you feel about that?
Did you watch it?
Still haven't seen a damn episode. I watched the dub, and I know I have watched like 20 minutes of the dub.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's an episode, whatever.
Yeah.
That's it.
But no, you like the guy for his plots, right?
Oh yeah, I like the
Tyler-
guy for his nice big plots.
Tyler, watch the show. You're going to love it.
Yeah, you probably
I have
would.
a friend
Yeah.
who's on the show. That's about my involvement. And I love it here.
Okay. So you're watching. Here's the thing. I watched an episode of the dub. It's not as good as the sub. It's not as good as the sub for me, but that's because I really, really like the sub. The actresses for these characters are phenomenal, so it's hard for them to match.
Is it someone we know that's in the dub?
Emily,
Oh, who's Emily playing?
the best friend.
Manana?
Manana.
Yeah. Okay.
Emily over at Soundcada.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I watched a scene because it's one that she posted on Twitter, and yeah, she's fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, it's
Nice.
Same as you, Scott. Like, I am very much used to the Japanese voices, so it was that weird, like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
But from any objective standpoint, like, yeah, they knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
While we're on that, real quick, I still haven't watched any more than 3 episodes of. What is it again?
What? A place further in the universe?
what the fuck? Why do you keep giving us these arguably good shows and then not watch them?
I'll argue
Grey's
with anybody
Anatomy
about
had
Place
my
Further than
attention.
No, he was busy watching Grey's Anatomy, and that's
I
understandable.
just finished it, so I'm back.
Oh, you did?
I'm back in the anime world.
You never
I don't think
left.
you ever left Anime World.
Yeah.
Now it's just all comparison. Is this better or worse than
The
Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy?
Anatomy. That is the baseline for all entertainment. Is it
Okay.
better or worse than Grey's Anatomy? So Chio's School Life was actually one of my favorite shows this season. I'm going to put it flat out on the table. Because while it did have a lot of things that made me uncomfortable, I also took it in cultural relevance, and so I let certain things go because of culture.
Sure.
I know how things work in Japan. I know the way that they view things. It can bother me, but at the end of the day, I'm going to latch onto the things that I like the most if I can hand wave the other bullshit. And the other bullshit in Chio's only on occasion got to the point where I could not hand wave it. Otherwise, I laughed a lot with this show. And that meant the world to me with this season, because there were a lot of other things that got my hopes up and then basically dropped the ball. There were other things that were just that I had to suffer through. There were other things that were good, but, you know, kind of unremarkable. So this season, the fact that I got something that every single episode I laughed.
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah, no, I'm marrying Chio's.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this show never disappointed me to the like. There were disappointing moments, but I got exactly what I needed out of this show. It was that one show that I couldn't even believe actually managed to do this, because its first episode was like, oh my God, really? Is this what we're in for? And then just every episode progressively introduced new things to make me laugh and get me interested and relate. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how relatable this show is. And that's a relatable anime? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, Christ, man. So yeah, it's getting this. I'm marrying this show, and it was actually a tough choice, because there's another show on this list that also managed to provoke me in many occasions, but at the end just dropped the ball a little too much for me, and was not as consistently entertaining as Chio's was for me. So we'll get into it when we get into it.
Yeah. No, Chio's was, I think, like you said, the biggest merit to it was every single episode. I laughed at least one thing out loud, and that is way more than a lot of other shit. So that alone is kind of a feat, especially in something that we have such a seemingly really low bar across this season, where I feel like in any other season this would still be just as fun for me too. And it was good. I feel like it came off really strong in the beginning against like all the penny shots and shit. People that didn't know what I was talking about, you're fucking idiots, by the way. Now you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Because I watched this with my family, so anytime anything happened, I was like, Jiminy Christmas! If they just didn't have that fucking shot, I could show this to literally anybody, but I can't. So it was really just in that setting that kind of really came off. But as I watched more of them, I'm like, no, this is what it is. And as someone who's grown up with this shit, I get it. It's fine. I had a lot of fun with it. And I think relatability also went a long way too. I was definitely one of these characters at some point in my life.
Yeah, for me, this show is just the definition of a mixed bag. Like, I see all the stuff that you see. It's not, there are other shows on this list where we will disagree vociferously about the relative merits. This is one where, you're right. It does a lot of things really well. But the things that it does well, it never quite did so well that I was excited for the next episode.
Yeah.
It's just me. It's what I'm looking to get out of it. It's fine.
I'm just, you know what, regardless, I'm actually glad that there was a show that made it to the end that didn't have you suffering.
Yeah.
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 And I feel like this is also, I feel like the season was interesting in that there were a lot of shows that went to the end that I think went different ways for each of us.
Yeah.
It was just like, because like even by the end of it, I knifed it because I'm like, I get it. It's fine. I'm done.
Yep.
Oh, a lot of people also asked, why wasn't there a death animation last week? And I was like, it made it to the end.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't kill a show if it made it to the end. The idea of killing the show is that, okay, we're no longer going to cover it. No, it made it to the end. It it's weird, because if we had to skip a week, if we hadn't skipped a week.
Yeah, who knows? But
Yeah.
So that's one reason. Also, y'all don't know what Stefan's workload is like lately. I do.
Oh, yeah. We also, maybe we kind of were like, you don't got to do a death animation this week, buddy. It's fine.
Yeah. Want to talk about the hardest working man in show business. Whew.
Yeah.
But something transitional phrase.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. No. One of the best ones that I've ever stolen from Ganjinba.
Yeah.
Hanebado. Remember that show?
I remember its opening a lot. Its opening was real good. I like that.
Guys, get in the Twitch chat. I usually don't have Twitch chat open while we do this, but fuck it, this show's canceled. Who cares? Tell us how wrong we are about Hanebado and how it got so much better after we canceled it. And
I don't know.
Keep doing the show, goddammit!
Hanebado
we're
was an
trying.
issue.
I'm not here.
Hanebado.
so hard.
Hanebado is a show about girls who love to play badminton.
yes.
And a lot of shuttlecock jokes to make there, but at the end of the day, to be completely honest with you, it was a well-animated but poorly written couple of episodes that we ended up seeing. And some people argued with me that it wasn't poorly written, and I will argue back. There is no reason, like, fucking Giguk. Giguk actually had a
Fucking Giguk.
yeah, fucking Giguk had a little like seasonal roundup thing where
Yeah.
he covered each show, and he's like, why is she going into PTSD over seeing someone who beat her in badminton? And I was like, you know what? There it is. They oversell everything in those first couple of episodes when we're just starting out. You don't need to jump into all this holy, stupidly dramatic bullshit on your first couple of episodes about an anime about badminton.
It had no levity to it. Like it's trying to do what ping pong did without any fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's stupid.
Well, it's trying to. The thing that ping pong had going for it was very different from like Hanebado.
Yeah.
It was a visual feast. It was very character
Which people will say this has, because I think the visuals are really good. It
Oh, yeah,
looks
yeah.
amazing, but it's striving for this like realistic dramatic take on this subject matter that is like, have some fun with it. It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game, and it's not even a. It's badminton, guys.
According to chat, there was more levity in the manga, and they removed it all from the
Oh,
anime.
God.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay, that makes sense.
I'll look. If you want to tell me that it was all nice. If you want to tell me that it was all building towards something, and it really was well written in the episodes we didn't watch, I'm willing to believe you, because the only alternative is to watch more Hanebado.
No.
Yeah. I'm for people who like it, I'm glad you got it because it seems like a competently made show, but it is not something I would get enjoyment out of.
So
And by the way, I wish I'd watched one or two more episodes to see if it got better, but I'm not crying about it.
yeah, I mean, you have the opportunity now that you no longer have contractually obligated anime to watch. Are
Yeah,
you
but
gonna?
no.
So there you go.
I haven't even finished review Starlight.
And you like that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that a little later. Let's talk about something that I was wrong about. Let's talk about Angels of Death, which got on the list largely because I gave a positive response to the first episode that I watched.
You know what? No one could blame you necessarily for that first episode. I wasn't entirely on board with it, but I didn't hate it.
I don't know if you were nodding because you blame me, Kieran, but
blame you.
Oh, okay, good. No, I blame myself.
I blame you.
I saw what that show was, and I was in denial.
I guess just because I was interested though because I also like wanted to see because as soon as I looked up, wow, this feels like some stupid RPG Maker game. It actually is. That weirdly got me more interested to go, oh, okay, so this is supposed to be stupid, and then it was too stupid.
Yeah.
And it was in the same problem I had with Hanebado in that it wasn't having fun with it. It felt like it was taking itself very seriously, and I can only care so much when you think it's really that important.
Well, because it felt like it wanted to be kooky.
Yeah.
But it also felt like it wanted to be this kind of horror film about a little girl in these terrible situations. But the dialogue was just the worst.
Oh, the dialogue was atrocious.
Like if you cut 90% of the dialogue, I think everything else would have just kind of sold it on its absurdity.
Yeah.
But oh my God, when any character would talk, I instantly became less interested because all of the words that they were saying were boring or dumb or generic or just fucking asinine. And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't care about you, Mr. Bandage on your mouth. I don't care about you, Rebecca, was it? Rachel?
Who cares?
Rachel
Rachel, I
Gardner?
think.
What the fuck? I don't care. I don't care about you, dude with pumpkin on his head. And I kind of cared about dude with the eyes because he looked cool. Then he died. The end.
Yeah, I'm looking up how long it takes to beat.
Oh yeah, let's.
the game, because it felt like they really just padded out all these fucking scenes, because all those RPG Maker games have dialogue, puzzle, dialogue, new area, puzzle. That's it. That's all of them. And like there were barely any, like there were some fun puzzle things, but then she had the fucking flashlight, as you mentioned that one time.
So there's a part of me that looks back on that scene and I wonder to myself, was that supposed to be the joke? Maybe that was a joke. Maybe that whole thing was like she runs off with the flashlight, and then he like the joke there is like these two people are so stupid they don't realize what they just did, but then it's immediately followed up by the villain character shouting out to her, getting swung at, and then wondering how in the world he knew where he was. And I'm like, nope, no, you are dumb. You are a dumb show. You are a dumb fucking show. And Anime News Network keeps giving you good reviews. What?
You should just not pay attention to that.
I know.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Yeah, but this is the man who can't go out to dinner without pouring through Yelp.
Yeah, no, that's also true. No, I am that friend, and I will
Damn.
accept that I am the friend that, you know what? No, I don't want to go to that place. It's got bad reviews.
I mean, you've also pointed me to some real good places because of your Yelp obsession. So
Yeah,
it's
that is
not
true.
a
That is true.
criticism.
8 hours, by the way. So
Oh.
that's a bit longer than I was expecting.
Yeah.
8 hours sounds like something you could totally make into a show, though.
Yeah. Also, it's on Switch. I didn't know that. Anyways, yeah, 8 hours. I could see them. I could see them wanting to, if it had more dialogue, try to fit in a lot of things that might have been stretched out more naturally into things. And you're like, okay, we just got to fucking get through all this dialogue. Brrr.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they should have cut it. They really should have.
Yep. Well, speaking of things that I wanted to cut a long time ago,
Oh.
we've got a new episode to talk about.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Let's do it.
Let's talk about Happy Sugar Life, episode 12, the finale, in which Auntie burns the 12th floor of the apartment building. Bro bonks Pink Girl on the head, but Small Girl says she chooses Pink Girl and threatens to kill herself if Bro separates them. Small Girl and Pink Girl decide to die together, but Small Girl survives the fall. Auntie and Creeper Teacher, hey, remember him? There was a plot thread that went absolutely nowhere. They go to jail, and Bro lives too, but Small Girl isn't interested in living with him because reasons.
All right, so I want to point something out before we continue. This is an anime-only ending.
I didn't.
really?
The manga has not gotten to this point yet.
Ooh, shit. Interesting.
There is
Okay.
stuff in this ending that's in the manga, but at some point, I believe like halfway through it, it becomes anime only. I don't know if the mangaka told them exactly what they were going to do, or if the anime decided, or they were like, nope, you find out your own ending. But
Okay. Interesting.
yes.
Alrighty. I didn't know that. I thought it was done.
Yeah, you know what? I actually went and checked because I'm like, okay, how did this play out in the manga? And then I find out, oh my God, we're at the scene with the manga. Last time I checked, is at the scene where she's checking on the dead body of her friend.
Right.
She's checking on the dead body of her friend there, and that's like one of the last things that they show in the manga currently.
So what, the scene where she's dressing her up or
Yeah.
whatever? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that fucked up sad scene.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, yeah, sad.
Oh, it's tragic. It's tragic in another way.
It's tragic in that it's real dumb. Well, as long as dental records and DNA evidence aren't a thing, this should work swimmingly.
Oh yeah, like we'll talk about that. Like I was just talking about the fact that she looks over her friend, and then for the moment there, you see her with this kind of like, shit. Could I have actually been friends? Could this have worked? Mm-hmm. But then she resigns herself, like, no, I've made my decision and moves on. And I'm like, oh wow, for a moment there, it's a real human moment from this crazy psycho bitch after doing the worst possible thing that she could have done. And
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was effective.
I liked it too.
especially when it came into a moment where she's dressing her in her clothes. It's
Yeah,
whoa.
I like how like kind of solemnly they played that scene. I thought that was actually pretty good of showing her kind of struggling with it.
Yeah.
There was a moment when when Pink Girl refers to her crime, and my girlfriend, who watches this with me and is right in lockstep with me, by the way, about what
I'm sure.
a garbage fire this show is, says crime singular, and I say no, that does make sense. That is the only thing she would consider potentially a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've got opinions on this ending because I feel like it did not go as bad as I feel like it could have, and I mean like
Yeah, yeah.
actually bad and not like terrible, which I was okay with terrible. I was okay with just like lean into the terribleness of it. But I do want to talk about Chio.
Okay.
Remember when I said that she kind of like felt really out of character out of nowhere, and like here, this is the worst of that I've seen, where she puts the glass
with
into her neck
the glass,
and threatens to kill herself, and I'm like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
Like this is so crazy for a step for like crazy little girl. I'm okay with. But no, I want to stay with her, and I'll kill myself if you come near me. It's just that extra level of like, okay, I can't. This is too much. Like this is just too much for this little kid to go through. And at that point, I don't know. I don't know how I was supposed to feel about it because it just kind of killed things for me. I'm like, you really are just gonna have her be like in love with Sato to the very end.
I don't know how I don't know how I feel about her in particular because I totally agree. She's out of character. She's way too eloquent and mature for any. How old is she? 8, 10, whatever.
Like, if that.
Yeah, she's like 8, I think.
Yeah. And I think like overall, like with the tone of the show, which I liked what the brothers said, because I think this plays overall with what the show's like theme really is. It's just about victimhood and everybody dealing with their shit in a very bad way.
Yeah.
Like the people being unable to reconcile their problems, and how this just kind of further drives people together, and how that's a very bad thing.
And here's the thing. Chio going with Sato wasn't the problem I necessarily had.
Yeah.
It's the emotional maturity in which she does it that bothers the shit out of me.
And I totally see that.
Because the writing for her up until that point had been, I'm a little child, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm in my happy life, so I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
The moment conflict was entered, she should have been breaking down. It doesn't matter that she came from a household full of abuse. The moment things went really south, she should not have been able to handle any of this. And so to watch her be the mature one here is like, are you fucking serious? This is an 8-year-old. The only reason that I was able to be on this whole fucking thing's jive was that, oh yeah, no, they look at this pure innocent little cinnamon bun and do terrible things in service of protecting her and loving her. And yeah, no, if at the end this pure little cinnamon bun is going to be mature enough to make her own choices, no, you've kind of ruined that whole thing that you've set up. It makes me honestly question about the reasoning of this character all throughout this show. Like, what was her purpose? Because if it was to set up a tragic love story, you can fuck a billion miles off. I'm not in this for that.
Now, I do not know. Knowing that this is an anime-only ending explains so fucking much. Because, yeah, by the way, that is the way they tried to end this. Is, it's this tragic love affair that was too pure for this world, and fuck all that.
Yeah. Which, at the end, the saving grace, the one thing that kind of swoops in at the very end there, is that Sato dies and Chio doesn't.
I'm glad that you agree, because if they did play that both of them died together, I would have also been frustrated. But the fact that they do my favorite stupid horror thing, the killer lives on.
Yes.
It pulled it back around enough for me to go, you wanted to do this stupid bullshit, and I feel what it was trying to make me feel with them falling. I'm like, this is really fucked up. This is everything that led to this. I admit the insert song got to me. Everything got to me. Whatever. I'm an emotional dude. So I was just like, man, that's sad. It's bullshit, but whatever. It's still depressing. But she lives on and is reincarnated in her, and now she's the crazy killer. Like, that's fun.
And see, that ending is good for me because I like the idea of like, oh shit, okay, so after all this is done, Chio has become Sato. And that's okay, cool. I mean, that's not the ending I wanted, but that's way better of an ending than tragic death with the both of them.
Yeah.
Because then that's like, that's having your cake and eating it too. And I'm like, oh no.
So I'm going to do the thing that you're not supposed to do, but I'm going to do it anyway, where you decide what the better ending that you wanted was.
No, I was going to do the same thing, so go ahead.
Okay, all right. Everybody gets to do it. So I said partway through this episode, I just want everybody to die but the ant because she's the only character that I like. And then when they started playing this tragic romance bullshit, I said, I've changed my mind. I want the little girl to die, and I want the pink girl to live but be paralyzed from the fall. Let's just go full the most fucked up ending we can possibly conceive, where none of this means anything, and now she's miserable for the rest of her life and can't even kill herself because she's quadriplegic. And they couldn't even do that right. I hate this show. By the way, in case anybody out there had any idea that I was going to flip the script on the 11th hour, no, obviously not. Okay, what's your better ending?
My better ending was you could have kept all of this stuff, the sequence of events the same, change Chio's character to somebody who's scared. Make her somebody who doesn't know what she's doing. Make her somebody who just wants to be happy and is confused and frustrated. And at the very end, like, because my personal choice would have been, if I didn't keep all the events the same, would have been have her go with her brother and have Sato die.
Yeah.
Like, I would have rather she betray Sato and Chio, and then Chio live on with her brother. And then, then the devil dies, and, the people who deserve happiness finally get it. But if we're going to keep the ending where Chio becomes the killer, then let Chio not understand at all what's happening. Let her be completely out of her depth. And in the end, Sato forces her to go off with her. And in that last moment, she, I can see it in this, afterwards, she's like, she really loved me. She wanted to take me with her. And then she's fucked up for life. You know what? Okay. That would have been dark and terrible and right in step with the show. But no. It decided to lean into the tragic love story of these two. And even though it still gave us a dark, depressing ending, that
would have been better than what we got. You are right.
I think I'm still a bit more lenient on it because I was just so happy that she lived. That alone was enough for me to go. Because the whole time she's falling, I'm like, oh no, they're doing the thing. I'm feeling something, but I want to be angry, but I'm feeling it. I do like these characters. I like this fucked up story more than I think everybody else here. I get what the show's trying to do. Come on, you gotta fuck it up just a bit more. And then they fuck it up just a bit more. I'm like, that's all I wanted. Thank you. Gochi sama desha, whatever. I think the ending, the fact that Sato died because she braced the fall. I really did like the insert song. I thought it actually went the extra mile to go, this is a really fucked up ride. And I had a great time. I liked seeing Pedo Bear get raped again. I like seeing the brother get shat on. I like seeing the aunt say, hi, yes, it was me. Arrest me, please.
Why did the teacher get arrested?
Because he was a creepy teacher. Who cares? Doesn't matter. I'm in. This show is fun. It's a fun ride. If you didn't like it by episode 1, you're not going to like it. But if you did, I think it's fun.
So I'm torn because I love the terrible ride that this show is. But the ending the last couple of episodes kind of ruined some elements for me. Because again, the way that Chio was characterized for the longest time made this more fucked up and more excusable because you knew that she wasn't responsible and they weren't trying to play her up as an equal in this relationship. That's the only way it worked. By her not being an equal because she's fucking a child. So when the mangaka or whoever decided, no, she's going to speak up for herself and make decisions and be involved. I'm like, oh no, this isn't good. This is bad. And maybe the element was supposed to be, look at her turning into this awful person.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're not selling that enough for me. The only thing that you've done to do that is show her fucked up past, but that only shows me up how she got here, not the development she's gone through while she's here. So this is a tough one because I really like this. Like, I really like the idea of this story, of it just being this tale of a bunch of fucked up victims who end up being fucked up with each other, and then people die in the process.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's a neat story. It's got some great horror elements, but at the end of the day, if this is the kind of show that you're looking for, you're gonna get a lot. Like, if you're looking for the psychological horror series with some just despicable elements to really kind of sell it, then you could really go way worse than with Happy Sugar Life. But at the end of the day, it hurts me to hold this up because for the last couple episodes, I was fucking it because I was really into it. The last couple episodes, I wasn't. But you know what? Again, if you're into this kind of shit, good show for it. Like, you just be prepared for kind of like maybe not as fucked up an ending as it needed. And that's my opinion. It just needed to really kind of go more into it.
Which, speaking of, could you hand me that thing over there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
was
wanted
surprised.
to for the episode, but for the show, this is Tyler. This makes me so happy. By the way, this right here, and this show. This is my Happy Sugar Life, because good horror anime is fucking hard to come by, and yeah, please. Good horror anime is really hard to find. I think it's easy to say that you could say you could do worse, because you can. You could do worse than this show. Thank you. Actually, that's what I really want. Thank you. This is perfect.
Perfect.
Because when it comes to horror and comedy, blah blah blah, hardest things to write, all that shit. This show, I think, went the extra mile to do something with the visual medium that you would not get reading the manga, that you don't get with a book, that you don't get with many other forms aside from animation.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the medium of anime being pushed to as far as the dick can go. I want to know, how far can it go? What can I put the dick in? Where can it? I want it to be on fire. I want it to be caught. I want it to be inside an 8-year-old. I want it to be inside a 16-year-old. I want to see it everywhere. This show goes all sorts of places, and I love seeing media that isn't scared to do that, because the world's a fucked up place. It's fun to sugarcoat it and act like we're not a bunch of gorillas, but I like seeing the gorilla brain going absolutely bonkers and in such a fun spectacle, because at the end of the day, the show is a fucking spectacle.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the writing. Might have dropped the ball. It was never boring, and that's all I ask for.
I have to wholeheartedly agree that this show is never boring, and visually is one of the best shows this season.
The
like,
visuals
God.
are so fucking good to me.
Yeah, like, oh my God, that episode where it's all from first-person perspective with that dude.
Holy shit, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, what a concept episode. I wasn't expecting a concept episode of the show, and it was exactly what it needed to be. Like, God damn.
So I hate to chime in this late in the day, because I wanted to let you have the last word.
I don't care.
But about the show that you're marrying. But let's talk about the one thing that I liked in this show.
Ooh.
Sure.
Which was the ant. And
Yeah.
specifically that moment when she's got the cop's hat. Yeah. Because the ant is Satan.
Yep.
And that's why she's such a great character, because she tempts him to get in on this dirty, dirty sin with her. And that's great. Now let's talk about how the last episode fucks that up.
Really?
When she rapes Pedo Bear.
Oh,
She doesn't
yeah.
tempt Pedo Bear, she ties him up and forcefully rapes him. And that took away the one good thing about her character, which is that she tempts others into sin.
Oh,
I hated that.
Did you read the manga? Is that in the manga or the anime only?
it's weird in the manga because it's like I don't think she actually rapes him in the manga.
Because I'm wondering if that is an anime only thing. I'd be curious.
But I do think that she knows who that guy is. And that's different.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because this isn't I need to do what you want. I think this was on the behalf of Sato. I don't think this was her own efforts. Like,
I mean, tying him up and making sure he didn't fuck with their escape. Sure. Why'd she have to rape him?
yeah, I don't know, and I agree with you that ultimately kind of ruins that character because her entire thing is that she doesn't have to be overly aggressive. She just needs to get aggressive enough to plant that seed and then let the other person act on it. And that was what made her terrifying. That's what makes her so like, oh God, Jesus Christ. That's what makes her uncomfortable. Because otherwise, yeah, she's just a rapist, and that's
I've seen that. Like, that can be scary.
Yeah.
But I've seen that.
yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think you're right in that regard. But at that point, like we were kind of getting into the end game. So I guess I kind of was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't really care about that. Nothing ever happens with that character. He just kind of ends up fucked up.
I know. I was kind of hoping. I was hoping for something else, but
Yeah, I was.
Oh, well.
I was also hoping for more, and that's why I think that the manga is probably going to have more. I think it's going to give us real endings with a lot of these characters because, like, they rushed this last episode. Like,
absolutely.
And
yeah.
God damn it, I really wish they hadn't shown like the first scene, like one of the last scenes in the first episode.
Yeah.
That was so dumb. I think that was a terrible decision because you knew exactly how it was all going to turn out the moment you heard that they were going to set the place on fire. Oh, well, they're going to end up on the top of the building and kill themselves.
Yeah.
Like, what else were you going to do?
Surprise us, maybe, for once.
Well, yeah.
But I'm very curious to see how the manga, the storytelling structure of the manga goes. This is one that I want to check out afterward. Not one that I say I want to check out and then never do. So I have gone back and read Inuyashiki and shit, which is nice. But yeah, I definitely want to check this out afterward because I'm curious to see where it differs. But for the convention of just a thing for my eyeballs, I think the anime was a bit more engaging.
I want to point out that this was one of the shows I was going to marry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ultimately, the frustration with the finale, I was like, no.
No, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
I think the writing definitely falls near the last third. If you want to say it was never there at all, I get it.
I will also unfortunately say the last episode of this show is one of its worst looking.
It looks way worse. Like, yeah, I think the penultimate episode was spectacular with what they do with all the fucking visual metaphors and shit. They do so much cool stuff. And yeah, last episode, all this off-model shit.
Yeah,
but
okay, I'm glad we both noticed that this looked really bad in comparison to the rest of the show.
Absolutely did. Yeah.
I'll meet you halfway when you said, the writing, maybe if you want to say it was never there at all, I'll meet you halfway. It was a step down. There was a way that it could have done, which I probably still wouldn't have liked, but it would have at least been consistent. It would have been of a piece and a whole that if it's for you, great. Unfortunately, it didn't stick the landing either.
Yeah.
But at this point, we are halfway through our list of 10.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Probably more than halfway through the runtime of us talking about it.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Because, that was a big part of what we had to talk about this week. But I think this might be a good moment to talk about anything else that we watched that was not part of our list of 10, which in my case is My Hero Academia.
I was actually thinking, here's the thing. So if we're going to include The Ring for the anime that we're watching this season, I mean, I guess I marry Hero Academia too, but like I wasn't really thinking about it much because at the end of the day, if we're going by the stuff on the FMK stuff, Chio was the one I wanted to go with. But
hey,
I mean,
that's totally valid.
Yeah, I mean, you do you, but if it's My Hero Academia or nothing, because there is nothing else on this list that I would give a full-throated endorsement to anybody.
Yeah.
And I would rather do that for something that I actually did honestly like than have to pick something out of these 10.
My Hero Academia is a really, really, really spectacular shonen series. It's certainly better than fucking the Black Clover, and it's let's be honest. Like, while I love One Piece and I think it's one of the best shonen manga maybe of all time, it is a bad anime.
Yeah. So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time about it because we kind of just
Yeah,
recapped.
we did.
With Grant, which is fine, but
yeah.
But for the purposes of what are we holding up a ring for? It's My Hero. Yep.
Yeah. If we're going to include that by and large, like if I can cheat, like if we're going by strictly the things on the list here, it's Chio's. But if we're going with the whole package, it's My Hero.
I mean, if you want to say it's My Hero, obviously I'm not going to argue.
You want to hold it back up? Do you want to take it back?
Oh,
Take
shit.
backsies from this high schooler.
You know what? I did this
Crush
last
your
season. I'm going to
dreams.
do it again. I'm going to do it again. Sorry, Chio. I was a bridesmaid.
It's almost like you're the poly person at the table.
Oh my God, it's true. You know what? I get to marry both of them. Fuck y'all.
Captain Indecisive over here. All right, let's.
That's general,
Yeah.
actually.
Yep, there we
okay.
go.
Yeah.
Generally indecisive.
Generally indecisive. Well, speaking of one night stands that we barely remember, do you guys barely remember Grand Blue?
I vaguely remember.
I do.
it.
Oh, I remember it very well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I had a lot of, because I was pretty vocal about how fun I thought a lot of it was, and then it just kind of spun its wheels in place for a sec, and I liked a lot of what it was doing visually and with its delivery. I feel like that type of hyperbolic shit is why I watch anime. I want to see the stupid shit.
Yep.
See, I actually kind of was into it stupid shit. Like
Yeah.
the whole, okay, first of all, a bunch of Japanese frat guys drinking. Like the whole thing with
Yeah.
like, here's some water, start drinking, it's vodka! And I'm like, that's really funny. But also, it didn't, like, Grand Blue seemed like one of those shows, again, that wanted to have its cake and eat it too. It wanted to be so over the top with its comedy that you can't possibly take it seriously. But then it wanted its serious moments.
Yeah, then I had this like really serious moments with like aquarium and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm like, you're not going to sell me on the emotional resonance of scuba diving when you have scenes where a girl misinterprets one of her roommates as having a very creepy and very uncomfortable obsession with her as a big joke. Like, that's, nope, you lost me. Sorry.
They're cousins too.
Well, yeah.
That makes it extra hot.
Wait. The main character and the guy that... Really?
No, because it was the main character's room.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say about this show. Like when you were saying earlier about Hanebado, there's just no fun in it. This show is all fun all the time for somebody, not for me. But
Yeah.
I can see that the people making this are having fun. I can imagine an audience watching this and having fun. I'm glad this is out there and that people can have fun with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch another episode of it, but hey.
Yeah.
It really does go to all, like, turn it up to 11.
Yeah.
I like, that's the one thing I'll give it. It goes up to 11, and if you are the person who wants it at 11, cool. 11's not my speed, because I prefer jokes to be grounded and to make sense, rather than just kind of be like, look at this terrible, horrible thing that no one would ever, like, again, the fact that the girl is okay with him after that is impossible. If anybody had that kind of shit with me, I'd call the police.
You gotta know when to lighten up with it though, because this show doesn't give a shit. It's not
Yeah.
grounded in actual real life.
Yeah, but but then it tries.
I know, and that's where I agree with you. Is then it tries to, and I'm like, no, stay in Looney Tunes world. I don't
Yeah.
want Looney Tunes to come out and hang out with fucking.
But also, if we're in Looney Tunes world, try and make it feel and look a little bit more like Looney Tunes world, and
Yeah.
not all these more realistic character designs. I mean, they're not super realistic; they're still super anime. But I don't know. Again, the setting, the premise, it all just kind of felt very adult. And then it's like, oh, but wacky hijinks, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of wacky hijinks and turning things up to 11, we got Review Starlight on this list.
Yeah.
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 So I really wish I'd watched the rest of the episodes, but I won't lie to you. When I fell out of it, I was kind of just afraid to go back. I don't want to be disappointed. I
Yeah.
don't want to be disappointed in something where
I know, right?
originally I was having so much fun.
It's like this. It's It's this illusion, this thing that you can always put up and say that it's gonna stay mystical and magical. It's gonna stay behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And the best performance is the one you don't see.
Yeah. I want it to be good. I want it to be amazing.
You wanted the wonderful Wizard of Oz, and all that was behind the curtain was some asshole from Kansas.
Well, the weird thing is, it became Madoka.
Yeah,
Like,
which is
I was
cool.
actually sort of surprised from like, oh shit, there's time travel involved.
I feel like I called that a billion years ago.
Yeah,
though.
like it's just amazing. It's just how I'm like, oh my god, you really did just turn this into Madoka.
Yeah, it's just it seems so blatantly Madoka from the outset to me that I was like, okay, I get the Madoka vibes. It's wearing it on its sleeve. That's fun. People like that show. I like that show.
Yeah, and what it did do, unlike fucking Magical Girl's site, where, oh, we're going to be a dark magical girl show, and it's just going to be miserable the entire time.
I heard a lot of people really liked that.
They're
So
wrong.
I don't know, man.
they're-
Tyler says he likes people that like it, and I trust Tyler's opinion. For site, Magical Girl site, who liked it? Somebody liked it.
iPatch Wolf said he thought it
Was it Eye Patch
I
Wolf?
think so.
Yeah, okay, I like his.
I think he said it was a fun depiction. Apparently the
Of
first
misery?
episode's just like the worst.
Okay, so apparently the first episode's bad of sight.
I can't remember.
I'll have to check it out.
Magical,
Well, I mean, if Eyepatch Wolf liked it, then I will definitely drift off to sleep to his voice for 45 minutes.
Oh, it's so relaxing.
It is. That is not an insult. I love Eyepatch Wolf shit. I have to have 45 minutes free.
Yeah.
But, yo.
yeah. That being said,
But no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
though.
it tries to make sure that it sells this dark undertone with these gothic vibes, but also keeping like, oh, review Starlight. It's all about this big stage show. And the last episode I left off on, and okay, spoilers for review Starlight. Like skip a couple, like maybe a minute forward. But guess who the villain is?
Is it the giraffe?
no,
Alright.
it's banana.
It's Banana Girl.
Wait, there's a banana girl?
Yeah,
it's banana.
Daiba Nana.
Yeah.
Daiba Nana.
Oh.
Daiba Nana.
Banana.
Oh.
Banana not so nice.
Yeah. Hang on. Here, set this right here for me.
Yeah.
Set
let's,
this. Set that right there
yeah,
for me.
just
Hang on.
get
Can you
it.
invert it this way? There we go. Scott, could you lean over for me real quick? No, I can tell.
I can
no,
see, and
we
that's
can-
all fine.
Yeah. No.
I mean, like all the ones I've hidden.
Oh, that you've
okay.
hidden. Yeah. If you could just turn them all on.
Yeah, just get.
Yeah. Okay. Can we just?
Yep. There we go.
So review Starlight.
This is the theater.
was a beautiful show.
Yeah, it was real pretty.
It was really pretty. It had a lot of visual storytelling stuff that both you and I clung
Yeah,
on to
that I
very
saw.
hard.
I knew what it was doing, and I laid it down. I picked it up because I appreciate the subtlety. You got to really want to care about it.
But the moment it tried to actually tell its story was when it started to waver
Yeah.
because it dropped its significant visual storytelling for more traditional storytelling. And
Yeah.
at that point, it wavered because its characters were not defined enough.
Yeah.
Like it only was able to make it through on its visual storytelling because like, okay, yeah, these are broad caricatures. Like convince me that this works through your visuals and I will cling to that. It doesn't make these characters any more deep, but it allows my brain to be like, oh cool, I'm latching onto a different way of storytelling that's working for me. This is neat and it looks beautiful, so I'm about this.
Yeah.
But
I think what really hit me the most about it was I just, and this isn't like against people in particular or anything, but it's just that these characters are designed to be marketable. That is the outset. This was made by a company to be a franchise, and I don't have a problem with that. I love things that are designed to be a franchise.
actually, so do you know how this anime came about?
How?
These are people who worked in the industry
Yeah.
who decided they wanted to make a show
Yeah.
about how shitty it was.
Okay. How shitty what was?
Working as a performer.
Okay. And I can tell that there's a lot of nuance going on behind the scenes too. That these people, and even hearing the reports about pay cuts and people having to do all this shit, and you can see it in the animation of there's all these flaws and things, but people are really trying their best to make it go forward. But something about it felt more plastic to me than I think was intentional.
Yeah.
Because they all seemed like, as you said, these broad stroke characters that I have seen enough anime and seen enough things, because these people are obviously familiar with the industry, so they know these caricatures that they kind of are. You know who this Genki girl is. You know who this, I called her Homura because that's who she is.
Yeah, no, she's actually Homura.
Again, oh, cool, wow. And it just seems like this was done by someone who, you mentioning that makes sense to me, who was deeply understands what this field of media latches onto in terms of tropes and shit, and tries to do something original with it. But then once they inject their own through line of, oh no, here's like the really important story behind Archer Girl. I don't care about Archer Girl. I don't care about fucking Lance Girl. I don't care about these people. I care about this scenario. You had a really cool event story brewing. Then they tried to make it a character story, and the characters were never the strong suit because they're supposed to be as injectionable of you as an audience to buy merchandise as possible.
You know what character I liked? The characters that I liked? I liked Main Girl. I liked Main Girl's crush.
Yeah.
I liked Not Homura. And I liked the way that they interacted.
Yeah.
And you had some other characters who got some spotlight, but again, all of their stories were visually told through these stage plays.
Which is rad.
That was the cool part. I was like, I don't need to actually know about all these girls. I just want to see this stage play that tells their story and these cool, little bits of dialogue that are informed throughout the rest of the episode. So when it all comes together, it's like I got told exactly everything I needed to know for all of these visuals to tell me the story. Even if it's a story I've heard before, I'm feeling all these things click in my brain, and that's awesome. I get an experience that's different from all these other anime that don't want to tell me a visual story, even though it's a visual medium. They want to tell you every fucking thing. That is the thing I hate about anime, by the way, is that most of it's based off of manga, and manga has difficulty telling a visual story because of its very nature. It can have beautiful moments, but a lot of it is told through dialogue. And there's nothing I hate more than dialogue explaining a story, unless it's natural dialogue that occurs that informs you through implication.
Not treating the audience member like a fucking idiot, which is what this show did at the beginning. Yeah. And I think it was really dense and easy to bounce off of, because if you don't give a shit, then whatever. The show's not giving you any reason to. Other than, hey, is this flashy? Do you care? No? Okay, well, for the people that do care, you got to really want to see what it's doing. Then it kind of plays its hand, and I'm like, oh, I don't really care about these people, though. I kind of had more fun seeing your stage play antics. Yeah.
And, you never latched onto it.
Yeah.
You got this close to being kind of interested, and then,
Yeah, when they had the one episode where they told a competent story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they told that competent story, and I'm over here like, God damn it. It's like, this is what I signed on for. I didn't want this. I didn't want this kind of story. I want my visual flair and implications and read into it.
So maybe that was.
I found it bright and colorful, like a crayon drawing, and about as deep as one.
It's a crayon drawing from a schizophrenic patient. There's something going on there, but you really got to figure it out, and you got to be a little crazy. It's fine. I don't think it's bad. I would not call this a bad show.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a bad show either.
But it's up its own ass really far, and you got to be willing to go up there with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if pretentious is necessarily the right word, but
I think that's an easy word to misuse, and I'm not.
I see more so, I guess, esoteric, but not in a Silmarillion level esoteric.
Yeah, it's not dry.
Yeah,
no,
but yeah, I would have a lot of negative words to describe it. Pretentious would not be one of them. But Let's talk about Banana Fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a show.
I didn't finish it, but I watched more.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
The episode right after we killed it, really fucking good.
Huh.
Amazing episode. Great animation. Fucking Shorter gets his shit fucked up. It was really cool, and they do a lot of really dynamic stuff with the storyboarding too. And again, the show looks amazing and sounds so fucking good. I think just unfortunately transposing it, I should say, from the 80s to now didn't really do it any favors.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a flaw. It's a flaw that if the base level of the show had been better would not have bothered me.
Yeah.
In fact, it didn't bother me. Plenty of other stuff about the show that bothered me.
Yeah.
I can't tell how Scott feels just looking at his face into his cold, dead eyes.
You want to talk about the gay thing?
I hate this show.
I noticed that you are gay.
I want to talk about the death that we gave Banana Fish. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's one of my favorite deaths we've ever come up with. It was a collective consciousness decision between Ben, myself, and Stefan.
Yep.
And I wanted to go for something with the banana fish.
Yeah.
Stefan came up with this brilliant idea of queer baiting.
Yeah, and we sat down and said, is that too, speaking of esoteric, is that too obscure? Do you have to? And then we decided, who the fuck are we making this show for anymore? This dumb canceled show. The people who will get our bad, dumb visual puns.
Yep. So we put a queer bait in there. And then there's kind of a double fake out too, because as it goes up towards it, it doesn't get hooked on. It gets harpooned. And I was like, no, it needs to get harpooned. I want to sell this.
Yep.
So yeah, no, it's so when you talk about use of certain concepts in your series to help color it and give it a tone, you have to kind of, like, a lot of people. So I once said that this story has no place talking about rape and sexual abuse, and someone said, what do you mean? It's allowed to. That's the story it wants to tell. And you know what? Yeah, no, if that's the story it wants to tell, fine. But
the problem isn't that subject matter is off limits. The problem is that it's doing it badly.
Yeah, it's doing it very poorly. And if you disagree, that's fine. That's called opinions on subjective material. That is art. I thought it shut the bed constantly with its use of rape, sexual assault, and not that it used those as frankly as it did. That wasn't the problem. It's just never given any kind of weight or reason.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, by the way, she got raped. Oh, by the way, he's been sexually abused. And, he actually, his son, the main character, was sexually abused by this dude, but they didn't really do anything about it. And he actually kind of blames him for it. And I'm like,
yeah, the whole thing with the fucking dad.
Yeah. And, and if at the end of it, it had been like, no, fuck you, dad, go to hell. I would have been like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's the response you give to a complete monster.
Yeah.
No, I love you. It's like you're still my dad. No, fuck you. Get fucked. Get absolutely, positively, 100% fucked. And so, and it's weird because I'm talking about the moral objections with the show, and that's not fair. Because
it's not wholly moral. I think it's writing too.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. If we're talking about writing from a writer's perspective, yeah. At the same time, know your audience, know what human beings are like, and know that this sort of material might make people some little fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because that's the only reason you have things like murder in your story. Oh my God, somebody's been murdered. We have a murder mystery because so let's figure that out. When you have sexual assault into the mess, you better have a good reason, because that shit is...
It's not that making your audience uncomfortable is a bad thing. That is part of, Kieran will say before anybody else, but I'll say it for you. That's part of what art is supposed to do.
Yes.
But the more uncomfortable you make your audience, the higher a bar you're setting for yourself to be doing it for a damn good reason and not gratuitously.
Happy Sugar Life was all about the mental effects this kind of shit has on you.
Yeah.
It's literally all about, oh yeah, by the way, this subject material is as dark as they come. And while we might treat them as, oh yep, this happened, it's given a visual weight every time of this shit fucks you up. Meanwhile, Banana Fish is like, yep, this shit happens, and it's part of our story, and we're a crime story. We're a crime story. It's a story about crime. It's a story about crime, gangsters, and all that. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it kind of has this like gloss and glamour that something like this, like if you want to have characters getting raped, and then literally the next scene, pulling your pants up. Okay, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do anything with it. Of course, I don't have any problems using it in a story, but I'm glad you agree with me. Like in Happy Sugar Life, when characters get raped, you see how much that fucks them up. In here, that doesn't happen at all. It's just like, oh, I'm my butthole's numb now. Like, oh, it doesn't bother me anymore.
My butthole's numb now. Kieran Summerlin, 2018.
I'd like to point out that some people talk about like, oh, but this has serious psychological effects on Ash, and I'm like,
where were they?
That's cool. You can't have those come up way later. You can't have other characters. Like, there's just so much going on here that's really gross and despicable and unnerving, and it's never treated with that weight.
Yeah.
It's never treated with the weight that these very serious topics kind of beg to be like. And again, if you're into like, if you don't care about that kind of shit, if you thought this was a great story because of how like you're able to like just kind of mentally handwave, like, yeah, it's a dark story with dark matter, subject matter, that's fine. But past that, I also just felt like it wasn't that great of a story.
Yeah.
But then again, that's because I live in 2018. I have seen this, like these crime stories about a drug on the street and about mob or gang warfare. I've seen this shit. I've seen this shit a lot. And then don't even get me started on the queer baiting bullshit. Don't even get me started on the fact that the only reason that AG and Ash have this relationship is that this mangaka was like, oh, they're pretty relationship. Look at these pretty boys who are in love with each other, but never actually going to wind up together. Because, spoiler alert. Well, no, I'm not going to spoil this for anybody. That would be fucking bullshit, but...
Well, there's your spoiler alert. Skip ahead 2 minutes. No, spoiler alert.
Okay, spoiler alert. Skip ahead, like... a minute or whatever. Ash dies.
Okay.
Yeah, Ash fucking dies after Shorter dies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't watch like right after that because I saw the episode where Shorter died.
Yeah, Shorter dies. Then a guy hunts him down who was part of Shorter's family.
Yeah.
And kills Ash.
Oh fuck! Okay.
Yeah, because he blames him.
Oh, cool.
Which yeah.
Okay.
That
has me excited though. That actually has me intrigued.
But yeah, so.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's... So does the story continue on from that? Is it just like AG's story after that, or is that the ending?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I
Interesting.
only heard this like third person, but like.
I mean,
That when I heard Shorter died, I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, nope. Like,
The episode is really fucking cool though. They do a lot of fun visual shit.
yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm sure they did. It is certainly not a show devoid of talent on the people making it.
Oh yeah, no. Talk about a show that looked and sounded great.
Yeah, I think that for me, I give that much more lenience because if I'm giving my full attention to something that is not interactive because I have turbo ADD everything, I'm like, you better be damn impressive.
Well, my personal opinion is that if you have a visual medium, my personal opinion on using a visual medium, especially with cartoons, is that it doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be creative. You need to use what you have to your extent to tell something that is visually interesting because you're using animation. Because why the fuck would you use animation if you can't make something that's going to look interesting? Why wouldn't you utilize your visual medium? Because at that point, like, that's why there are some shows out there which try to do a lot and then fail, and it's like, work within your scale. Do the thing, like, if you can't do something grand, do something smaller but better. Because at that point, like, if you try to serve all these masters and you don't have the energy and ability to do it, you're going to please none of them, and it's just going to fall by the wayside as a wasted opportunity. So that's always been my opinion on that, which makes me sound like I'm telling people, hey, you don't take any risks. No, that's not what I'm saying. Take risks, but
Calculated.
yeah, calculate it and don't settle for something that's gonna look bad. Like, don't be like, well, it looks awful, but I'm telling my story.
Yeah, I love seeing stuff that, and like this show in general had a really industrial vibe, and I appreciated that a lot. That went a long way for me because that was really popular with 90s and early 2000 shows that I kind of grew up watching. So it was a fun throwback to that kind of stuff for me, and it was always fun to see the characters because I like the characters a lot. Writing was a little poop.
I like the characters too. God damn it.
The fact that we kept it going for even one more episode after that shit with the dad should tell you something about how much this show did right.
Yeah.
Because if anything about the way the show is constructed visually was the slightest bit worse, then that would have been the death knell for it.
Absolutely. So I want to make sure that gets praised properly because out of everything, I think Happy Sugar Life and Banana Fish were like the best looking shows. They just looked fantastic.
Yeah, Happy Sugar Life because of its because of its artistic merits, and Banana Fish because it just slick.
It was just solid, like 9.5s across the board. Everything looked competent and really solid. Everybody was on model, good colors, cool palette, great soundtrack.
Yep.
I love that soundtrack.
Yeah.
But
Yep. Well, guys, let's talk about Planet With.
we went a lot into it.
We really did.
I feel like we did most of the talking.
Yeah, this is our final show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
No, it's not.
Oh, I thought. Oh no, we.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah.
But
So Planet
Planet
With is when you want to talk about. I want to piggyback on what you just said with talking about using a visual medium to do something creative. That is this. It might be a little too weird. It might not have. This is the problem of ambition in a good way for me. This is something that clearly has someone who is so passionate about what they're doing and wants to do something that is so out there and so imaginative and creative. Like I can't reiterate that enough, that I feel like this presentation, these designs, this concept, and even throughout most of it, the execution and how it was telling the stories and the visualization of these psychic weapons was so fucking cool to me that it's so hard not to recommend this to people that might even be remotely interested in the mecha genre. Like it really did something unique that, as someone who's watched anime my entire fucking life, was a breath of fresh air in what seemed to be really formulaic and stale from almost like there's just so many things that could be really tropey and fall into what's easy because that's how you get it approved and out and done and got to do all those fucking deadlines. This show didn't look great all the time. It had a lot of problems, but it always had its fucking identity and it always knew exactly what it wanted to fucking be. And there were some glimpses of a bit more like, I think like grander truth shit going on that I think you noticed and I noticed kind of a bit at the beginning that it didn't really follow through with, but its fingerprint was never off of any episode. You always knew what you were going to fucking get. And I love and appreciate that type of artistic consistency.
Yeah. What I will say, because what I keep coming back to is, would I recommend this to anybody? And what I would say with this show is like, yeah, watch a couple of episodes, and then as you're deciding whether to go on with it, know that there is more to it than it seems from those first couple of episodes, but it doesn't quite stick the landing. And if that's something that you feel like you're on board for, then yeah, sure, by all means. It wound up not really being worth the journey for me, but you might disagree, and that's fine.
I ended up loving this show because of the conversations I got to have with you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I won't lie to you. That was actually one of my favorite parts about it, is that it brings up a lot of questions, a lot of very interesting questions about war, about fighting, about life. It talks about pacifism. It talks about, the subjection. And I really liked that. we are currently at a time. We talked about this. Like, I was near tears on one of the episodes when we talked about, like, we are at a time where we're all at each other's throats. We need more material like this. We absolutely need more material telling people, like, hey, you really need to look at why you're fighting. You need to look at why you're aggressive, and you need to look at other people as, you know, we are all a scared kid with a gun sometimes.
I'll say this, and this might come across a little harsh initially, but you remember Wotakoi, and when we were giving our final thoughts about Wotakoi, and I said, yeah, you know, I thought, yeah, the show itself wasn't that great, but it gave us this impetus for these conversations about relationships that I like to have. And then Kieran says, yeah, but maybe we don't need to watch a bad show to have that.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, I know where you're going.
Yeah,
Totally.
I love the conversations that we had, and I think this is, on balance, a better show than Wotakoi ever was. It is more, certainly more ambitious than Wotakoi, and realizes its ambitions better. At the end of the day, I don't think it was a great show, but yes, I treasure those conversations that we had. I hope we can still have them while not having to tie them to a show that's kind of not that great at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's and
Anime FMK?
Yes, exactly. Well did.
I think the fact that, like, you can extract those from this kind of stuff, though, I think is also. It's important to keep that in mind as well. Like, with at least with this show, and then going forward watching other shit, because I feel like there's a lot of artists out there now with the advent of the online age and this increased connectivity, that you're going to see more stories like that coming out. You're going to see more people, because there is now such a more human message throughout a lot of shit. I think you're just going to keep reiterating. Like, that's why I love Devilman Crybaby so much. Like, when we talked about that, and Inuyashiki for, like, the same kind of thing. I think you're going to see a lot more of these kinds of stories. And what I think is important to consider about that, kind of tying. I'm getting to the point. What you were saying about not sticking the landing, is that as we keep communicating with people and trying, expressing these ideas and keeping these ideas consistent and being talked about, is that eventually, hopefully, that'll lead to a fucking answer. I feel like when we talked about this, brought this up too, like, I don't think this show's gonna answer the problem to war. That's fucking crazy. But the fact that it is doing so much, and you're seeing these creators come out and do these things that are really driving forward this message of connectivity and, you know, kind of this humanitarian thing, that you're going to see as these topics keep being brought up and we keep talking about them, that hopefully we can find some kind of more concrete, applicable to real life solution for this kind of shit. But until then, I think it's really fun exploring, and I think it's not only fun, I think it's imperative to I don't know what the word, to fancy, entertain, to facilitate these kinds of these lines of thinking in a very creative and fun way. So I think even though it kind of fucked up the landing, I think that is just going to be inevitable as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, wholeheartedly, I agree. I want things to try and do this. I want stories to be about something. I'm 31 years old. I've seen a lot of different shit. So give me stories about stuff. Give me stories that challenge me. Even if I disagree with their answer, I like being challenged. Like, it's... I remember I used to be very different when I was a kid. I didn't like to necessarily think too hard about this stuff. And I also usually, like, when I did get a message, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what that message meant. I get it. I'm on board. I understand. Wouldn't differ with me, wouldn't challenge me. I'd just be like, okay.
Yeah. I identify the thing I agree with, yes.
Yeah. Like, Fooly Cooley is, like, imparts this, like, a bunch of metaphors for puberty.
Yeah.
And also just a screen test for Gynex, like, yep, let's see what let's see the crazy shit that we can do. But I appreciate it for both those things. I appreciate it because it is about something. It can be a very heavy metaphor, but it does try to be crazy and wild and wacky, and I'm all about that. I want people to get nuts with their shit. I don't want them Like, it's just like fucking Miyazaki said, I will always return to this quote. The worst part about anime is its fans, because they become people who make anime and they just want to make the same fucking thing they grew up with, and that's terrible.
Yeah.
Your best anime, your favorite anime, was made by people who wanted to tell stories about the things that they grew up with, the lives they lived, the people they've met. It wasn't just the stories that that implanted on them. It's what they want to say about their own experience, and that's what art should be. All art should have your fingerprint on it, because no matter how similar it might end up being to somebody else's, as long as you made it yours, your fingerprint will be there and it will define it.
You said something too that I want to reiterate. I want to see this guy's Inuyashiki to his Gantz.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Like this, if this is what his first foray into fucking anime, holy shit. Good job, dude.
Apparently, he's already had his. If you look at his manga, he's already had his Inuyashiki. Apparently.
Okay,
So-
yeah, and certainly I'll have to go check out his manga. I really want to, but I want to see what new like anime original thing he does.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see what this guy does next. So while I agree, coming off a little cool at the end, wasn't as excited about it, I still think this is so promising, and I want more shit like this to happen than anything else. I would much rather have 10 Planet Withs than, I don't know, 50 other fucking, honestly, than other Happy Sugar Lives sometimes, because I want to see more really challenging shit.
Yeah. I mean, certainly as I'm scrolling over this list, like if you told me, hey, the guys who made this show are making a new show, I wouldn't watch any of them except for the Planet With guys making something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the positive thing to keep in mind. And I'm happy we all watched it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm glad we saw the whole thing through. And I still I was watching it with my girlfriend and she was like, I still have to see the ending. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
you
though?
don't need to.
I mean,
So we've been putting it off. So like that's kind of, and as that's been going, I was like, yeah, I don't think I really did like the ending that much, but I still think back on it, I'm like, no, I think everything else and the ups and downs were still worth everything.
Yeah. No, that is a journey. It was worth the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, cells at work. Speaking of journeys, I did not knife this show because I hated it. I knifed this show because I didn't want to come to hate it.
Man, everybody is like, this series gets so good, and I'm like, oh man.
I mean, does it ever become more than what it is, though, would be my question, which is clever and well put together and entirely surface level.
Yeah, it does. Apparently.
Does it? Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Apparently, like, I've talked to a couple of people like, yeah, no, there's some real emotionally moving shit that happens later, which...
That surprises and
That-
pleases me to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, that seems, I don't know how I'd feel about that. 'cause-
Yeah, that's the thing. The reason I knifed the show is that, I'll be honest with you, I looked at this and all I could think of was, there's cells. There's cells, and a lot of this has just been kooky hijinks with the whole idea of how does the body function as an anthropomorphic society? And I'm like, that's really neat, but at the end of the day, that shtick runs, ran its course real quick, and the idea of drama with it was funnier to me than it was compelling. And I've seen the cancer episode.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I'm only sad I didn't see the cancer episode.
Yeah,
I
And
kind
we've
of
got people in the chat right now saying, it didn't actually get good. It just got a really good episode.
Yeah.
But tell us about your experience.
The cancer episode is interesting and compelling. It definitely has a darker, more personal story to tell. But I'm sorry, and maybe this is my stupid 31-year-old cynical brain talking, but I can't get past the fact that I know what this is. I know it's how it's going to end too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, the tragic story of the cancer cell. That's pretty fucked up. Like, when you think about it, if you try to anthropomorphize that, ooh boy.
Yeah.
But it was hard for me to actually really kind of like feel what it wanted me to feel. But I hear there are other good stories after that. I heard there was other good stuff. I heard there was more than just one good episode. So
that's the thing. I'm sure it is good. I'm sure little red blood cell down here is having a great time, delivering oxygen, getting into whatever hijinks happened that episode, being introduced to a new cell of the day. Yeah, it's that one right here.
One of these days, what I really want to do is read Cells at Work Black.
I know that has me way more interested.
Yeah, I want to meet the seamen.
Oh,
I want them to be fucking sailors. If they're not, they've ruined it.
This impregnable egg. Let's go, men.
I mean, oh my God, they did a fantastic joke about that. And oh God, what was it? I think it was fucking Panty and Stocking, actually.
Oh shit! I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, with the condom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Also a good show. Cells at Work is funny enough. There's been the YouTube algorithm loves this dude who's been the doctor that's been looking at cells at work, who's like an actual fucking physician. And it's been fun seeing, I watched him go over the first episode, and that was actually really cool seeing him go over, because a thing sets up, and he's like, oh, yeah, and then this is going to happen. And then it beat for beat. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. He's like, okay, and then and he explains it. Like, so, yeah, all bacteria have, like, this little wall, this little trap they have, and you have all these, like, the way the white blood cells can travel through everything and all this stuff. And he kind of predicts everything. And it was fun seeing him get so much enjoyment out of it. So for you out there who was really into biology and really thinks that cells and all that shit is really cool, I'm glad you have this, because it is a fantastic looking show and it's a lot of fun. I got what I wanted, and I'll come back to it when I'm really not sober.
You know? Yep. That feels. Oh, yes, thank you. You know, I think that's a pretty good anime. I got what I wanted out of it. I'll come back when I'm really not sober.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I felt that was one of those nights where I just kind of felt like, man, this isn't a bad show. This doesn't work. This doesn't deserve to die. I just, at this point, I feel like if I keep watching, I'm just gonna get bored, and that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hate to come away from this with a bad taste in my mouth, and I didn't.
Yeah.
So, hey, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's, I see why everybody really likes it. And you know what? Every time I see a red and white blood cell couple cosplay, makes me real happy.
Oh, yeah.
All over the place at AWA.
I'm
My
like,
God.
Oh, yeah, the cosplay's great.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's fun. I haven't seen any like bacteria dudes yet, but like I'm sure those would look really, because I love their designs. They look fucking cool.
I also see all the lazy assholes doing the killer T cells, but you know what?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
fine.
whatever.
That's
Hey,
fine.
good.
man.
You're trying.
Look, everybody has to have baby's first cosplay before they move on, if they ever do.
Mine was, I cosplayed as L one year.
I'm gonna be real
100%
lazy and just
did.
put a blue shirt on Asher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
No,
good.
I saw a couple platelets.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I saw a bunch of platelets actually running behind, like as a group, and I was like, ah.
Yeah. So
But also, yeah, if like most kawaii of the whole fucking year, those goddamn platelets.
that platelets, real good.
Yeah.
Very, very top tier. Honorable fuck to the platelets. They only live for 5 days, right? Who cares?
Yeah.
The platelets are the kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna be like cute and actually bring up a platelets gif from
And?
the show. Cells at Work platelets. The first thing
Is
lewds,
yes!
then cosplay, but it's lewds.
Internet, you have yet to fail me. Humanity is so good.
Humanity is done.
Humanity is wonderful.
I wonder what the platelets look like in black.
Oh, right.
Did you look it up?
No. You was going to say something else. You can tell me after the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I don't know how to sign this thing off, but I do know that I have to pee real bad.
Me too.
Here, I'll sign off by turning on all the gifs.
Do
Please
it.
do.
Bring in all the gifts forever.
I got some weird ones coming.
Yeah, there we go.
This is
That's John. I named him.
We're gonna die the way we lived, surrounded by gifts.
Thanks for watching Anime FMK.
I can't believe it. This is the last episode.
This is it. This is how we're.
Yeah.
This is how the world ends. Not with a bang, but with whatever the fuck this is. But with that boy, with this boy, that boy.
That
There we
boy.
go. There
that
he
boy
is.
right there.
Yep. That.
Oh, this is the banana.
Yep.
All right, guys. I don't know.
All right. Bye, guys.
Later, folks.